Once again, not every message I have is for everybody.
You can outwork anybody. It has to be in your brain. And a lot of people don't want to go there. It's about what you're saying to yourself, but it also comes with work. So whenever I was getting beat down, physically, mentally, spiritually, whatever I was going through, just saying, I would put, you can't hurt me. If you want to be great, you want to be best ever at what you do, you're going to be misunderstood by everybody because you're going to be so obsessed and so driven to get there. That's what it takes.
That's the truth.
It takes every second of your life. Anybody says balance? Yeah, balance is important for a lot of people. It is. But if you want to go to that edge where people do not like you, don't understand you, question everything you do, you've arrived. When you are misunderstood to the point where people think you're psycho and you're nuts and you're this and that, why are you in the gym at 1 o'clock in the morning? You just got through doing an op for 13, 14 hours at the Ranger School, man, at the gym. What is wrong? You will never understand what is wrong with me. And that's why I'm so glad you don't, because I'm in the right spot. When people don't understand you anymore, you're in that spot of obsession and drive where people are like, what the f is wrong with this guy? I don't want to talk to you, man, because you're not going to get it. Once we achieve something, we celebrate for a long years time, and we wonder, why don't I have drive anymore? Where's it all at? If you don't develop a routine of suffering, and suffering is not like go out and kill yourself every day, it's being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That keeps you hungry every day. If you live in your victories for so long and say, I'm gonna go challenge myself for 30 days or for 2 weeks or run this one marathon. And it ends, I did one marathon. Okay? That's why it leaves you. It leaves you because you haven't set up the next obstacle. Obstacles is how you grow.
Hey, Shalom. All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Rakah Kodash. Double honor to the elders and apostles of the great millstone, and peace and blessing to you, sincere brothers of the true house of David. And you got to have a mind to really suffer in this ministry. You got to have a mind to suffer, and you got to have a mind to endure and have patience while you're suffering. I've been doing a lot of lessons going into suffering these past couple of days because we're definitely in a time where the Lord, bringing these massive judgments. And the thing about this ministry is the Lord said when we were chastised, it's because so we won't get judged with the world. So everything that's going out there in Texas right now, when you look at these people out there in Texas, they're bugging the fuck out. The only reason why they're bugging out is because their mind is not hardened and it's not built and trained up to endure situations like that. All these different years, they were comfortable. They were living comfortable. They were relaxed. So when situations like that does hit them, they don't know how to bear with it. So, in this truth, you really have to have a mind to suffer. And you have to be honest and you have to be real with yourself. Because the only thing that a man has is his balls and his words. He doesn't have anything else. Well, we have the spirit, us true brothers over here. But, you have to be real with yourself. You have to be real. When you're real with yourself, then you can be real with everybody else. So when the Lord talked about in these days, as we're approaching these days, we're approaching Jacob's trouble, and we're approaching, all these things coming down the pipe. Well, the reason why the elect are going to pass with flying colors, whether that be they be delivered or matter for this truth, is because their mind is going to be disciplined and they're going to have the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding to combat these times, because a gun is not going to help you when these times are coming in. Food ain't going to help you. Camps ain't gonna help you. You got to be established and rooted in the Lord in your mind. And the Lord said, by the things that we're gonna see in these last days, every man's foundation is going to be known. As it says in Matthew chapter 7, those that build their foundation upon that rock and those that build their foundation on the sand. You see? So the ones that build their foundation on the rock, who are these guys? These are the ones that trusted in the Lord. These were the ones that were doing this thing with their whole mind. These are the ones that were willing to suffer for an extensive period of time. See, suffering is actually beneficial to your mind, because what it does is build calluses on your mind so that when you do suffer again, or you put it in a similar situation, you know how to handle it. See, you got to look at it like when you're working out. When you work out, you build calluses on your hand. And in order for you to gain muscles, you don't just lift up 10s and 5s. You have to lift up some heavy weights. You have to put some resistance on your muscles. That's the only way you're going to grow. So it's the same thing with this tree. You have to do the things that are more resistance. You got to take the most resistance path. As the scriptures say, this flesh wants to be comfortable, but the spirit is always willing. So let's go ahead and start in Acts chapter 21, if I'm not mistaken, and verse 14. You know, this thing is all about suffering, man. You guys want to be comfortable. It's not about being comfortable. It's not about being comfortable. When you're comfortable, you can't grow being comfortable. As you heard in the video of my man David Goggins, he said a lot of guys, they lose their push and their motivation because of comfortability. And the same thing can happen in this too. The scriptures say that many guys, they lose the Holy Spirit because they want to be comfortable. See, Babylon seduces you in a way where it gets you settled. It gets you relaxed. Next thing you know, you're not even in the faith no more. You really got to take this thing into consideration. And the beautiful thing about that video is I was, taking a little walk around, and I seen that video. I'm like, that's real heavy. We take videos of the world, and then we can compare it to the spiritual things, man, because this truth is the exact same way. This truth is even more on a higher level than in the world, you see? So you have to take the most difficult path. That's the only way you can grow. When you take the easy path, you can't grow doing the easy shit, you see? You got to take the path that has the more resistance. You got to do the things which the flesh does not want to do. But in that moment, when you do those things, that's how you can grow. That's where the opportunity comes in. That's how you can build more calluses in your mind. This world has been built in a way where everybody's comfortable. Everything is easily accessed. You got McDonald's down the street, then you got Burger King 2 blocks away. You can order your food. You don't even got to get up off your couch. And the thing is, just like in this world, there's a saying that goes, the lion that's on top of the mountain is not as hungry as the lion that's climbing the mountain. You always want to stay hungry. You always want to do the things that keep you hungry, that keeps that fire going. Whenever you feel like giving up, ask yourself, why did you come here this far? Why did you make it this far? What was the reason? See, you got to have it within you. It can't be on you. Let's go ahead and go to this precept. It's going to be a quick lesson. All right, I knew I was right there. All right, so this is Acts chapter 14 and verse 22. It says, confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith. When we do these lessons, we do it to confirm the souls of the disciples. You true ones that believe. We don't do this thing to entertain you or to get your laughs off, you see. No, we do this thing to warn you of the judgment that the Lord is bringing on this earth. And you see what's going on out there in Texas. So in order for you to endure in these times, you have to be building up your spirit in these times. Not when you see Jacob's trouble happening. Not when YouTube gets cut down, but right now as we speak. You know? It says, and exhorting them to continue in the faith, and that we must through much tribulation enter into the kingdom of the Most High. So through that tribulation that comes with trial and error, that's how you grow. Going through the path of difficulty, going through the most difficult path in everything that you do, you know, going through that path that has the most resistance. That's how you can grow. You're not gonna grow going through the easy path. You know, the thing is, a lot of men are gonna be a surprise when guys they look up to, they either bitch up or they fall like a cheap chair in these times. You see, a lot of guys they only got paid off by Esau. A lot of guys they ain't gonna make it because the thing is they want to be comfortable in these times. It's not about being comfortable; it's about being uncomfortable, and that's how you can grow. You see. So now let's go ahead and get this quick article right here. It says the order of a man. So you know, this is a little quick quote that I seen on Google, going to the most difficult path. That's what this thing is about, man. The scripture says in Matthew 7, the straight path. That the Lord said, few there be that find it. So that straight path is not going to be known to everybody. You know, that's the cup of the Lord right there. See, in order for you to get to the Lord, you have to go down that straight path. You have to do the things that the flesh does not like, but the spirit, that's how it's going to help the spirit grow. You have to do the things that you don't like. You know, certain things that you know, I have to do sometimes that I don't like, but I have to do it. Why? Because I understand, I know that it's going to help me grow. You know, that's what this thing is about, man. Growing in the Lord, making sure your spirit is right with the Lord. But in order for you to grow, you have to go down that path of most resistance. So let's get into it. All right. So it says the path of more resistance is the term you're not likely to hear. The term we typically use is the path of least resistance. And I understand why. It's a natural that we as human beings look for efficiencies, shortcuts, and the easiest path. There is merit to the path of least resistance. We shouldn't make things hard just for them being hard. Or should we? Contrary to popular belief, there are plenty of times when it would be in our best interest to pursue the path of most resistance. You know? It says, see, the path of least resistance is great avenue to pursue pursue during the actual test when it actually counts. But if we can train ourselves to take the hardest path when it doesn't, we'll be more adequately prepared to handle ourselves when it does. When I'm talking about taking the path of the most resistance, what I'm talking about is enabling yourself to better face the trials, obstacles, and hurdles in life. Right, because when you go down that path of most resistance and you get faced with trials, you're going to know better adequately how to maneuver through that. It's all about your response. The actions are going to happen, but it's all about your response and how you respond to that situation. But that's what happens when you take the path of most resistance. It builds you up. That's what the Lord is looking for. He's looking for warriors. He's looking for true men. You see? Going on, it says, for example, it's that uncomfortable conversation that you need to have with your spouse or employer. What most people would do when they know they need to have it uncomfortable is tuck tail and run. They put it off because they never build up the fortitude, toughness, grit, and resiliency required to have those uncomfortable conversations. And those uncomfortable conversations is you and yourself. Having that uncomfortable conversation with yourself, being real with yourself. You see, because you can put on the act for everybody else, but if you're not real with yourself, you know, then you're no good to yourself. You see, you're being fake with yourself. The scriptures say, "He that is not good to himself, to whom will he be good?" So you brothers get what I'm saying. The path of most resistance. That's where growth comes in. You know, That's where growth comes in, man. I said they put it off because they never built the fortitude. Let me jump down to verse. Let me jump down over here. It says, in my experience, when I have those type of uncomfortable conversations, things get better. Things work better, but again, most people run away. Jumping down to verse, not verse, but let me jump down to this next chapter. It says, taking the path of most resistance is about participating in events, experiences, and opportunities that could potentially put yourself in a better situation. It says, most people want because they're afraid. They let the fear of what may happen keep them from doing the very thing that will help them thrive, excel, and succeed in life. You see, I'm jumping down. It says, I get it. Fear is real. We have these acronyms, false evidence appearing real. I don't necessarily agree with that. Fear is real. When I'm afraid, there are some legitimate reasons for that fear. There are potential negative consequences of the circumstances we're afraid of. But this is why it's so important that we choose the path of most resistance when the consequences and the stakes aren't all that high, so that when there is a real conversation that needs to be had, when there's a real choice that needs to be made, when you're faced with a natural disaster or, heaven forbid, an active shooter, blah, 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 it says, then you build yourself up by choosing the path of most resistance, right? So the path of most resistance is what's going to lead to growth. Comfortability and the path of least resistance is what leads to a doubt. It's what leads to a weaker character. So pretty much with that, it's a quick lesson, brothers, through the spirit. And it came through that video that I seen with David Goggins. This truth is all about suffering and taking that path. That's the only way you're going to grow. You see? But with that, it's going to be on to the next one. Shalom.